listen to them. Give me their mini-sode. This is exactly right.
And hello. Welcome.
It's the My Favorite Murder mini-sode.
That's right. We read your shit back to you.
It's another week. It's another pile of shit we read at you. Are you ready?
Thank you.
Thank you for your ears.
And eyes.
And,
No.
well, they're looking somewhere.
I'm glad they're there.
It's great. And if one's popped out, pop it back in.
Okay, I do have an eyeball story.
Oh, do it.
You go. You want
Okay.
to go first this time?
Whatever you... If
I don't have a good ending. Do you?
Okay. I think I do.
Okay, great.
So then you do go first?
I'll go first then, so you can end it. Right?
Yes.
Or do you still want to go first?
I just couldn't figure the math out.
You can go first and last if you want.
No, I would not like that. That would make me feel bad.
Okay, well, I'm going to go first because all my stories are terrible.
Great.
And I don't have a lighthearted ending.
Great.
Okay, so this is called Hometown I Survived / I might go into labor at your show.
Ooh.
Karen, Georgia, and gang. And then it says, sorry, I suck at intros.
Disagree.
That was great.
I liked it. It was inclusive.
I thought I would share my Hometown I Survived story that made me a murderino as just a young preteen. I wish that I could find more details on it, but it was before the internet. I grew up before the internet.
Yeah.
I grew up going to sporting events for my twin brother, and most of my entertainment came from eavesdropping on the moms talking gossip.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Turns out one of the moms had recently been stalked by some guy. One night she was sleeping on the couch waiting for her husband to get off and was awoken by the sound of duct tape being ripped.
No.
She came to realize that there was a man in her house. I don't know the details of the fight, except that she ended up grabbing his eyeballs, which sent him running down the street screaming in pain.
Good.
She called 911 and the man was arrested. My mom's other friends served on the jury that found him guilty. Evidently, he had been stalking her for a while, had broken into her house when she was alone, turned the TV up and closed the kids' bedrooms' doors, and was planning to rape her. Who knows what would have happened if she hadn't fought back? That badass survived by grabbing his eyeballs.
Hell yeah.
In retrospect, the story may be the reason why I'm always paranoid that I have a stalker. Looking forward to your Houston show in May. My husband surprised me with tickets, even though it's a 4-hour trip and I will be 9 months pregnant.
Girl, it's like a contest.
We joke about how great of a story it would be to go into labor at your show, but not really. Baby Link hears your voices every day.
Disagree.
So he will likely be born a murderino.
Yes.
A baby Reno. Stay sexy and don't get murdered because you went for the eyeballs. Al.
Al, I would just like to point out...
Is that Al or AI?
AI? Like artificial intelligence?
Maybe.
Do you think a computer wrote us that hometown?
Computer-generated hometowns. It's the wave of the future.
Here's all the things you like. Eyeballs, fear, defense, self-defense.
Babies going into labor.
Eyes going everywhere. That the sound of ripping duct tape is one of the scary. It wasn't until she just stated it.
You were like,
what a horrifying sound to wake up to.
The opening of duct, the peeling. Yeah. Peeling
because
off.
What else would it be? It's not someone going, oh, I just have to tape down these roof shingles or some shit like that.
Hey, I'm in your house while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't do it quietly. It's like purposefully loud to scare the shit out of you.
That's right.
You can't quietly rip duct tape.
No.
I've tried it many times.
No, you can, it won't rip that way.
No.
You have to go loud and proud chainsaw style with any duct tape.
And then you got to go for the eyeballs.
And I also was thinking, because the eyeballs are the most painful, but every once in a while, I don't know if this happens to you, Georgia, but you reach into your nostril because you just want to scratch or pick or do something and you scratch your inside.
Or you get a zit in there.
Ugh.
It's the most painful place to get a zit.
I would imagine sticking your finger up someone's nose and scratching the inside would be very effective.
How about both your pinkies clonk right in the ear holes?
Ooh, yeah.
Bonk.
Shove them as far, because you're not supposed to put anything in your ear holes, especially other people's pinkies that maybe have very nicely manicured pinky nails on them.
Clonk.
And scratching
right
around.
into the ear holes.
Right in there.
All right.
And also don't be afraid to just hurt their feelings. Because that'll stop a guy in his tracks right quick. Say something rude. Oh, you're not that smart. Oh, you're less smart than I thought. Oh, you don't seem successful to me. Boom, he's down on his knees.
Oh, you took the 405 to the 101? You absolutely should have taken it to the 5.
405 to the 101.
You should have taken it to the 10.
Are you a fool?
Oh my God, who does that?
Ruined. He'll never get back up. He deserves it. Ready? I lived with a cult because the rent was cheap and other stories from my coworker. Hi, various humans and animals. I live in the glorious green part of the country known as the Pacific Northwest, which means everyone has some sort of connection to a serial killer.
Yep.
My uncle was best friends with one of Ted Bundy's victims. Aww. I regularly see Amanda Knox at my local grocery store, that kind of thing.
Wow. We got to move to the Pacific Northwest.
We should. We should have a summer home there.
Yeah.
But some of my very favorite stories come from my coworker. She's not someone you'd expect to have strange stories. She's this super nice momish woman who's constantly trying to get you to eat because she thinks you're always hungry. But from what I can tell, she's had a life, capital L, before coming in to work at the bakery.
Wow.
During a slow patch at work one day, I like that idea. It's a slow patch.
Yeah.
You're just driving through a work field and here's a patch of slowness. Me and my supervisor were talking about Ted Bundy and cults, as you do, and my coworker casually brought up the fact that when she was in her 20s, she rented a room from the local cult, the Love Family. Mm-mm. My reaction was naturally sheer delight, and she hastened to explain she wasn't actually in the cult. She just rented a room from them because it was cheap. And then while my supervisor and I were processing that bit of information, she also told us that at her old job, she was the one who processed the photos of Ted Bundy's execution.
What?
Yeah. Our reactions quickly turned to something closer to horror as she described, trigger warning, his fried head.
Ooh.
And then she just walked away as if she hadn't just dropped 2 very fascinating pieces of information about herself. It makes me wonder what else she's done that she hasn't told us. I hope to see y'all the next time you come to Seattle. SSDGM, Anya.
Oh my goodness.
Anya, I feel like there are backup emails. There are part 2, 3, and 4s that you can send us.
And we need the name of the bakery.
Yes.
We need their Yelp rating, and we need to go in there immediately.
And we need her autobiography.
That's right.
Because those are amazing. I mean,
so good.
Renting a room with the cult is a more interesting story than being in a cult.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're doing.
Yes.
You're aware.
And it's also like, are you okay?
Right. What are you? You're walking a line as if to say, I'm going to be in this world the most dangerous way possible without participating entirely.
And I am so confident in myself that I'm not going to join this fucking cult.
Yes.
That it doesn't matter.
Or maybe she was just on a ton of acid and she just needed somewhere to sleep.
Maybe she was in the cult and just didn't realize it.
Maybe she's bad at being in a cult.
Right. Do you have to acknowledge you're in a cult? You don't have to be like, I'm joining a cult.
I feel like acknowledgement is a huge part of cults.
Okay. So
like
she couldn't
really
have just been
being about it. Yeah. She couldn't have been like, oh, that's that girl that doesn't really like the cult.
Right.
They will suss you out, the heads of those cults.
Maybe she was the head of the cult and she just didn't know it.
Oh my God, that's the most powerful position to be in, where you're not attached to the label of who, quote unquote, who you think you are.
We don't like labels.
No, I'm not. I'm certainly not the leader of this cult. Yeah. You're the leader. Right. I'm your follower.
We all lead ourselves in this lifetime.
Take more acid.
Job says.
Trip out more. Turns out she never lived with that cult. It was just her family home.
She was just so fun.
She was married. She had 3 children. They drove her insane. She thought it was a cult.
Oh, she was so high.
The cult of motherhood.
Oh my God. We figured Betsy out, and I love it. Okay. Here's another defense story.
Great.
And I'll give you another place to grab.
Okay.
Truly. Hey folks, it's me again, writing in with yet another story. So sorry, but no, I won't stop writing in. See, we don't know who you are and we don't read all the emails.
No.
So if you feel bad about writing 10 different times, we'll never know.
Also, a great piece of writing advice that I got long ago is write down what you want to write and then cut out like 70% of it. Just tell people what they need to know. And maybe it was Hemingway who said that. But fucking...
Or one of his cats.
Don't worry about... The last thing in the world you need to be worried about is that you're showing up too much in our email account that has probably, over 20,000 emails in it at this point?
Probably a million.
Easily a million.
Yeah.
Including all those Kohl's promo emails.
That's right. That one time we bought one thing.
You sign up for one Kohl's Cash credit card, you're done for.
Okay, so I was catching up on my mini-sodes, and I heard yet another story of self-defense. Yes. My husband is an active duty Marine and is also an instructor of Marine Corps martial arts.
Hell yes.
Yes. So naturally, he's equipped me with some basic self-defense information. For instance, I'm about half his size, but I can effortlessly knock him on his ass or flip him over my back if need be. Sign us up.
Sorry. Marine Corps self-defense.
Yeah.
It's its own type.
Yeah.
It's
Marines,
its own area.
They're fucking tough. We should see if my brother learned anything when he was in the Marines.
Was he in the Marines?
Yeah.
Did he get big biceps?
No, but he makes a mean bed.
Tight corners?
Tight corners.
Nurses' corners?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He's good at that. Okay, no, and I'm not even that strong. However, he's also taught me some easy to remember basic moves that cause a bit more damage, but require half the effort / training to remember how to do it. Those are the ones I need.
That's absolutely my thing.
Yeah, especially because I don't really know what part of the body is where,
Right.
I don't know.
Especially if you're screaming and your eyes are closed.
Exactly. My favorite is the trachea grab.
Oh, shit.
Here we go. So I went to a nightclub with my friend, the murderina who turned me on to your podcast years ago, and we got drunk and had a good time. We stayed until close because, well, it was the only nightclub in the world's smallest town and we had nothing else to do. So my friend Jamie got way too drunk, and as we were all ushered out of the club and on into the back alley to wait for our rides, me and Jamie found a spot off to the side where she could sit while I called a cab. I made the phone call and turned around to let her know how long it would be, when to my surprise there was a fellow club goer coaxing Jamie into his cab.
Oh my God.
He had the back door open and was trying to get her up off the floor and into the back seat. I came up to him like, yo dude, what's going on? To which he replied, oh, my girlfriend just had too much to drink. I have to get her home to sleep it off. So smooth, right? If she hadn't been my best friend and there with me, I might have actually believed him. However, that was my Jamie, and he was trying to take her from me. Instead of screaming for help, telling the man that she was with me, or the 100 other things I could have done in the moment, the only thing I could think to do was injure the man, trying to do horrible things to my sweet baby Jamie. So I went for it. I lunged at him, and my hand went right for the throat. As instructed by my husband so many times in our practice sessions, my fingers did not go around the throat, but instead dug into either side of the creepo's Adam's apple.
Yes.
I shoved them in and grabbed as hard as I could, and he immediately started shoving me and ripping at my hand. I let go as a bouncer came jogging up to see what was going on. Bouncer asked if we were all right. Creepo guy waved him off since, he couldn't talk anymore.
Yes.
Got in his cab and left. I promptly started hyperventilating and explained to the bouncer what had just happened. He helped me bring Jamie closer to the back door of the club and waited there with us and the rest of the stragglers until our cab arrived. Jamie and I made it home safely that night. Fun fact, my husband told me that with enough pressure, you can permanently damage or even crush a trachea.
That's right.
Stay sexy and go directly for the trachea, Jenny.
I love that she just did it. She didn't ask him any questions.
Say, no, she's not.
No. She didn't try to enter a logic conversation with a sociopath who was already ready for any question or thing.
Totally.
Clearly lying to her face.
Probably done it before. He's so smooth about it.
Yeah. I love it. It's like you're already taking my friend.
Yeah.
So
here is the consequences of the very bad thing you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's not logic.
Trick. But here's what I also would say. If you're at a club and you're going to go call a cab, you nuzzle right under that bouncer's armpit and you stay with him until that cab, especially if you have a drunk friend.
Yeah.
Because it's too much to manage.
Yeah. And you shame him. You're going to let us go sit in the back alley and wait for a cab? I need you, big strong man, to come with me.
Yes, exactly. That's what bouncers are there for.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're just standing there looking for something. I mean, I love that guy spotted it and ran over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, stick to the door. There's no reason to wander off and be independent after the club closes. Wow, I'm really worked up about this. A lot of club rules. Please read my book, Club Rules with a Z. This is from the person we met in the Pittsburgh VIP meet and greet.
Cool.
Subject line is The Library Murder Files and the Red Toenail Murder.
What?
Hi, Karen and Georgia and Steven and new Steven, Jay, question mark?
We told Pittsburgh about Jay.
Yes.
We have a new assistant.
That's right, because Steven has been promoted and is now the head engineer of the Exactly Right podcast network.
And he just couldn't deal with us anymore.
And he is so sick of our emails. Well, I should say your emails.
Not,
No, not yours.
oh,
The audiences.
I'm like, what? Do I do that?
No, I meant them, but
Got it.
the new Steven is Jay.
Yeah. Welcome to the family, Jay.
He's the picker, and he's great.
Yes.
Okay, and whoever else reads these. Well, don't start getting paranoid. It's just Jay now.
No, it's just Jay. Sometimes Steven. Sometimes me late at night when I can't sleep and need horrible stories.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You just go through?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It was so nice meeting both of you and saying hi to fellow former Michigander Vince at Friday's VIP meet and greet in Pittsburgh. I'm sure it can't be easy to have 100 people throw their nervous energy at you for an hour. It sounds like an anxious person's nightmare, but we're also appreciative. What are you talking about?
Love it.
It's like people coming to brush your hair for an hour. Couldn't be better. I'm the librarian who blurted out a fast story about the research collection of, quote, murder files in our local history room. The files tell the stories of more than 300 murders spanning the 1830s to present day, just from within our rural county an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
The files were compiled by a couple of very cool retired volunteers. I absolutely lucked out in inheriting responsibility for this collection as part of the job, and we've helped several people gain some closure by helping them learn about family members who were victims.
Amazing.
P.S. Feel free to steal the work of my volunteers if you ever come back to the Berg for another live show. They think what you do is awesome, even though they don't quite understand what a podcast is. Tell them it's just like terrestrial radio. Anyway, here's one of my favorite stories from our files, which the Pittsburgh newspapers all sensationally dubbed the Red Toenail Murder. In October 1951, 19-year-old Nancy Rebilis and her 24-year-old husband Ed got into an argument because Nancy wanted to go to a dance that weekend. According to Ed, Nancy refused to promise to dance with him because he was short, and it made her self-conscious.
Oh,
They're married.
Problems.
But that sounds like a dude with issues about his height projecting his own bullshit on someone else.
Yeah.
During the argument, Ed knocked Mary unconscious, then suffocated her.
Oh.
The next morning, Ed went to Nancy's parents' house for breakfast and told them she'd run off overnight. Ed played the part of the worried husband and filed a missing persons report, at which point the police asked him to take a lie detector test, but Ed refused, saying he was, quote, too nervous. Within a few weeks of Nancy's, quote, disappearance, he enlisted in the Air Force and skipped town to Texas.
Wow.
Fast forward to spring of 1952, so like a year later, a farmer walking his property line spots a flash of bright red in the trees and goes closer to investigate. It's a woman's foot with a bright red toenail polish. He's found Nancy. Ed buried her in a shallow grave on this farm property. Pennsylvania State Police flew to Texas, where Ed continued to deny knowing anything about his wife until they showed him pictures of her body, at which point he confessed. Ed returned to Butler County to stand trial, and it marked the first trial in the county where a taped confession was played as evidence. Ed was found guilty, but disappointingly only served 6 years for Nancy's death. Margaret. And that was Margaret's... From the historical files.
God, like he could have gone on and gotten married again and had kids, and like no one would ever know.
Easy peasy. 6 years?
6 fucking years.
Wow.
For murder.
They must have
for like
plea. They plead all over the place.
They plead in their pants. This is terrible. That's terrible. This is serious.
Stop it. This is serious.
Stop it. Sorry. This is a murder podcast.
Stop it.
Act like a grown-up. If you color your hair, you know how frustrating it is to spend all that time and money only to have your color fade in a couple of weeks.
But the scientists at Living Proof have found a way to make hair colored last twice as long and look and feel healthier at the same time.
It's called Color Care.
Color Care is an innovative 3-product system that starts with a shampoo and conditioner that form an invisible shield to protect your color from washing out.
When your color eventually starts to fade, use Living Proof's Color Care Whipped Glazes.
They come in 2 different shades, one for highlights and blondes and one for darker shades and redheads.
These glazes have temporary dyes that make your hair color not only last longer, but also make your hair richer and more vibrant.
The entire Color Care line is silicone, paraben, sulfate, and cruelty-free.
So they sent the whipped glazes to us, and I've been using it. My hair, I haven't dyed it in so freaking long.
Really?
It has no right to look as good as it does after I use this stuff. It really does. It's like an in-between when you dye your hair and you need something because you don't have time to dye your hair.
And it really does start to should just look dull and faded and bad.
Mine turns like kind of weirdly reddish, but this stuff is awesome.
Living Proof is that's my shampoo anyway.
Yeah.
It's always been my, like, when I didn't have as much money, it was my splurge shampoo.
Nice.
And now it is my buy it in the big bulk amounts shampoo.
Because you're rich.
Come on!
Because of the podcasting money.
Make the switch to Living Proof today by visiting livingproof.com/murder and use promo code murder to get a free sample of their award-winning dry shampoo with your purchase.
That's livingproof.com/murder, promo code murder.
Goodbye. Georgia,
Yeah.
can I tell you something
Please,
private?
please.
Finding the perfect vacation home is hard.
Oh my God, Karen, I'm glad you shared that with me. I
Yeah.
know you start looking for a beach house big enough for 6, right? Like you do, and you wind up watching videos of surfing dogs all day. We've all been there.
Vrbo does the hard work for you, matching you to the perfect place to stay for your getaway every time.
Download the Vrbo app, search VRBO, and you'll discover everything from condos and cabins to villas and castles.
I really want to stay in a castle with surfing. Whatever your budget and whatever you want from the home, maybe it's a massive private pool,
Yes.
or maybe it's a place that's kid-friendly.
No.
Vrbo's got you covered.
The Vrbo app is easy and convenient.
It's got great ratings in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and you can use it to browse and book vacation homes from just about anywhere.
It's also useful when you're on your vacation because you can send instant messages to the homeowners directly from the app.
Let them know that tap is leaking.
You up?
Download the Vrbo app today.
To find it quickly, search VRBO and put an end to frustrating vacation searches. To find it quickly, search VRBO and put an end to frustrating vacation searches and the dog videos.
That's right. Put an end to it all. Let Vrbo find a home that matches you.
Goodbye. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm not going to tell you this. Hello, MFM crew. I recently remembered this story and thought I would share it with you. When I was a junior in high school, I started working graveyard shifts for a Greyhound affiliate bus line in the middle of nowhere, Idaho.
Hold on. In high school?
Yeah, she says so many red flags. I know.
Yes. God.
So many.
Graveyard shift in high school.
in high school at a Greyhound affiliate. So it's not even like a full-fledged Greyhound in the middle of nowhere.
I think there's over 5 different horror movies that start like this.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's true. Here's one of them.
Okay.
One night I was working by myself at the Greyhound depot. The last round of passengers had just loaded their bus, and as I started to lock up the depot, the phone rang. I answered, and the person on the other line said, "Hello, ma'am. My name is," we'll call him Bob, "with the FBI." My first instinct was to hang up because we received a lot of prank calls, but something about this felt different. The next sentence he spoke left the hair on the back of my neck reaching to high heaven. "We have reason to believe that there is a very dangerous and potentially armed man on one of your buses."
Uh-oh.
Quick side note, because you can board a Greyhound bus with cash and leave absolutely no paper trail, Greyhound is usually the preferred form of travel for people who have found themselves on a do-not-fly list. Fugitives, convicted felons, drug dealers, registered sex offenders, etc. Because of this, I was pretty tight with the local police, but a call from the FBI was a new experience.
Again, high school student.
Yeah.
Graveyard high school student. Pretty tight with the police.
Where are your parents? Listen. Okay.
Look.
Bob gave me a description of the man, and to my horror, it matched the description of a man who had been sitting less than 2 feet away from me just minutes earlier. He asked me to put him on hold and contact the driver of the bus to confirm that this person was indeed there. I called the driver, Paul, and described the man to him. Paul confirmed that the man, they never told me his name, they just called him X, was sitting in the very front row of the bus and that there was a child with him. I relayed this to Bob, and then I found myself caught in the middle of a joint FBI, SWAT, and police operation.
Oh, girl.
Paul had
or guy.
I think Ashlyn, girl.
Okay.
Paul had just pulled off to the first stop and was getting ready to leave. Law enforcement wanted him to stay put to decrease the chances of anything happening to the innocent passengers on board the bus.
Ugh.
They were sending a team to pick up X and would be there in less than 10 minutes. I called Paul and told him in no uncertain terms that he was not to move the damn bus until X was no longer on board, said an 11th grader. per Bob's order.
Listen to me, Paul. I'm telling you.
If you're not freaking bus.
I am not a sophomore anymore.
Yeah.
I am a senior.
Like, this is not an LOL situation. This is real.
Look, FaceTime me. We'll talk about it on FaceTime.
That's right. But take FaceTime off your phone because people can spy on you now.
They can spy on you. It's true.
Okay, per Bob's order, I gave Paul a rundown of the situation and asked him to keep an eye on the child. I gave Paul an excuse to tell the passengers and kept him on the phone for about 5 minutes, completely faking a conversation about weather delays and an accident on the I-15. After a little over 15 minutes, the law enforcement team arrived and X was taken into custody. It was pretty dramatic and there was a taser involved, but not a single innocent passenger was harmed. Turns out X was heavily armed and was running from his ex-wife and parole officer. Then she writes 2 different people. Gotta hope.
Beautiful.
Across state lines. He was a registered sex offender and was the prime suspect in a rape-turned-murder investigation. Good. The child was his, though he did not have custody. I have no idea what happened to him, and I don't know his name, and I haven't been able to find out any additional information. After X had been removed from the bus, Paul continued on his route as normal, and route. And I locked up the depot and went home to finish a book report for my 11th grade English class.
Are you fucking kidding me? She wasn't even a senior.
Uh-huh.
She was truly
11th
she was
grade.
A junior.
She was a junior in high school.
That's so nuts.
It's not okay. I told my parents...
Like, hold on, let me get the SWAT team back on the phone.
She should have become a dispatcher.
Yeah.
She'd have been good at that.
Well, she already was one. Maybe she's just like, nah, I tried it.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
I tried that when I was a junior.
I told my parents all about what happened and needless to say, quit shortly after and found a much more normal job that didn't require me to call the police on a weekly basis.
At Claire's. Just selling earrings.
That's
like every other junior in high school.
This is so boring.
I hate it. When does the SWAT team come?
I'm going to pull this fire alarm just for fun because I'm
going
bored.
to pierce a 3-year-old's ears. See if I can't get the SWAT team over here.
I need my adrenaline pumping. Paul, the bus driver, also left the company around the same time. This was definitely one of the crazy experiences of my teenage life. Though I hope I never have another run-in with the FBI. Stay sexy and don't work graveyard shifts for Greyhound, Ashlyn.
No problem, Ashlyn.
No problem. We will never do that. Especially in 11th grade. It's kind of badass. I mean,
for real.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my friend Christine Gooden, who always had a job, always. Uh-huh. And she also was in high school, like a sophomore in high school, had a day runner. Remember those? There was like a little book calendar thing.
My mom and dad had those up, like invested in stocks, basically.
So hilarious to me.
A child with a day runner.
Let me check my day runner. Okay.
Okay, 16-year-old.
Sounds great. CEO and president of your own corporation. All right, I read that one already. Oh, here we go.
Reread it. Let's have some fun. Let's just be fun.
But bring something different to it this time. Okay.
You plead all over the place. Okay, stop.
Okay. I'm not going to redo the subject line. It ruins it.
Okay.
Hey, MFM fam. In Minnesota 82, you called for parents whose kids have accidentally been hurt. Well, I have a pretty good one. I was a young single mom at 20 years old, and my son was 3 at the time.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. We had moved in with my dad and stepmom and my 4 little brothers. Dad's house had 5 bedrooms with a loft-type room overlooking the living room. I was downstairs on the couch watching TV with my 12-year-old brother sitting in the recliner next to the couch. It happened in an instant. My son fell into my little brother's lap from the 2nd-story loft. My brother and I looked at each other absolutely shocked. My son had fit his skinny little body in between the rails upstairs and cartwheeled off.
Oh my God.
The scariest part was that if he had been 1 foot to the left, he would have landed on concrete floors because we had removed the carpet to install wood flooring. It could have been so much worse. I'm happy to report that he escaped unscathed and is currently a healthy 19-year-old. Oh. I can hear it. A little kid slapping into her little brother's lap. Like just like clunk. The luck
of it. Oh.
And the fear.
Yeah.
Like that would be a moment of gratitude and fear combined.
And then the 2 of them looking at each other like, oh my God.
And one of them's 12.
One of them's 12. Like
okay. Also in the same minisode, you read a hometown where a man was stabbed 22 times and survived. You were talking about how much it would suck to be stabbed that many times and how long it would seem. Nick Swartzen talked about this in one of his comedy specials one time. My brain went right to it. I'm positive that I do that constantly because I've been watching stand-up comedy for 30 fucking years.
Tell other people's stories.
So when things come up, I know that I will go into other people's bits that I've seen a bunch of times where it's like, oh yeah, that.
You can't help it.
Look, I'm a big fan of Nick Swartzen's, and his comedy is mine. Thanks for the joy and the terror you bring to me every day, because I'm still catching up and refuse to go out of order. My best friend tried to get me to listen so long ago, and I wouldn't take her advice until just a few months ago. We just saw your live show together in Indy and loved every minute of it. Stay sexy and maybe baby-proof your loft railing, Sarah.
Oh my God. Oh dear.
Yes.
That's hard.
That's good.
That's great.
Well, that's it. Oh,
that's it. However,
yep. The everyone's favorite brand new podcast, Jensen and Holes, The Murder Squad. Episode 2 is up now.
Yeah, today. Make sure you subscribe. We only put episode 1 in our feed, so you have to go to theirs to subscribe.
Go over there if you haven't gone over already and rate and review and subscribe and make them a hit, because we love them and we support them.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening. Write your emails to us at myfavoritemurder@gmail.com. Jay will keep track of those now.
That's right. And stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, you want a cookie?
This is exactly right. Hello. And welcome
to My Favorite Murder.
The Maxi-sode.
The Maxi Pad episode.
This is the episode where we pour blue water onto the Maxi Pad of your interest.
Here's what we promise you. It will be super absorbent.
Yep.
Unscented.
There will be no leaks this entire episode.
There'll be wings, but they'll work.
Oh, man. The darn thing's got wings. Do you remember those ads?
No.
When the Always first came out with Maxi Pads with wings, which it should have happened years ago.
It was a new thing.
It was so new. And it came... I think in the 90s, right? Late 80s, maybe?
I may be in my period yet.
And there was literally a lady in the commercial. It did not apply to you. There's a lady in the commercial holding up this nutso-looking huge maxi pad with the wings going, the darn thing's got wings.
That's cute. Where is she today?
Dead. She died of toxic shock syndrome.
Because the whole thing was made of asbestos.
They didn't realize back then that they shouldn't kill women internally.
No, they didn't know you shouldn't just shove asbestos right up your... Anyway.
Look.
Listen. That's how we start. Listen, this is just a free association episode. Whatever the mouths happen, Karen's eating.
Oh, sorry.
Canadian Kit Kats.
I keep forgetting. There is okay. Look.
Talk about it. Let's do an office corner.
Okay.
Because we have everything. You tell a thing.
Okay. My thing in the office, because we're in the office, it's the new studios. It's very exciting. Every day there's a new thing. Now the walls are painted.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. The acoustic tiles are up, waiting to be hung so that all the sound is perfection.
There's a Steven in the corner.
Steven's got his whole thing set up, including my favorite new clock.
There's a Steven corner.
Corrections on Steven corner. But my favorite thing, which is, and I apologize for you having to listen to me chew, but we are given so much candy, and we might need to ask, please, less candy at the shows. We have so much candy in this office that there is a literal humongous drawer filled with Canadian Kit Kats in our kitchen. And that's every time we come to record, I just go open that drawer and pull one out for myself. It's amazing.
How about we do a rule that if your name is Leslie... No, how about if you were born in the month of October, May, or August, you can bring us candy if you want. But otherwise...
Or if your name is Leslie.
Or if your name is Leslie.
Other
with an IE, with a Y, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
And we're going to look at your driver's license, too. You have
just an I.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, because it's getting so out of hand, and it's very difficult not to eat high quality chocolate if it's near you.
These fucking salted caramels we get from this is the best chocolatier in our fucking
town.
Omaha, and it's salted caramel. And then the other problem is that I love dark chocolate. You hate it, so I immediately get the dark chocolate, and then my suitcase is full of dark chocolate salted caramels, and I want to cry.
I mean, and here's the thing: everybody that gives us gifts has really good taste. They know what a good gift is to give. They know to go to the oldest candy store in their town because it reflects the town. It reflects quality. It harkens back to a time of yore for whites. Let's be specific, but it really is the best.
Yeah,
so I will go home with a little box, like a C's or Whitman style tiny box of local candy. and just be like, well, I have to eat it. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here in Pittsburgh.
I do the thing of I'm going to bring this home and give it to my mom, or I have a shelf of like I'm just going to give that to someone else. Like it's so nice, but I don't want it this or that, and then I just end up eating it all. There's a whole fucking can of maple syrup someone gave us in Canada that I was like, well, I shouldn't let this go to waste. And now I have a fucking can of maple syrup.
That's like me sometimes when I'm in the grocery store and I want to buy candy, but I'm so ashamed to be buying candy that I have to make a story in my head.
Sorry.
I start the story. This is for the kids.
Okay, so I have you on pause. I said thank you, and 7:43 for you. Wow, it's 3:45 here.
That I see children.
You don't own any children.
There's no. I don't have them hidden in the attic.
I don't know if this pantry thing works. What do you think?
We're gonna get it.
Record this, or it might be edited out if it's terrible. But there's a fucking gnat, and I swear.
There's a get in your face.
It's just a decoration. I
can't really right now. I bet you it's because we turned the lights off and it's cold up there now.
Yeah.
But also, I can't tell the gnat from the floaters in my eyes.
Oh shit! I promise there's an.
No, I saw it coming at me.
Or it'll happen at some point.
We'll get that little motherfucker.
My office update corner.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the raggedy clown that we. I think we talked about this in the past episode. We'll put a photo of it up, and maybe a video of it up on our social networks. Someone gifted us what's a raggedy. It looks like a Raggedy Ann, but it's a clown, and on one side it's a happy face, and then you turn it over the other side, the back of his head, it's a fucking vintage clown sad face
with tears on its own face, crying knit tears.
No, I'm waiting for it. It's supposed to arrive today.
Why is it
supposedly
happening?
it says,
and I'm talking. So
it says delivery date Tuesday.
And I'm talking to
So
Steven.
it's supposed to be tomorrow.
And Danielle.
It's out for delivery today.
Yeah, but
okay?
I'm going to tell you about it now.
Okay.
No.
I'm kind of waiting for it. I keep hearing the truck.
Why is the clown right there?
Go by.
That's not where we originally put the clown. And it's a weird place. In a weird place. And I realized that lately I've been coming in the office and it's been in different places every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in here and Steven and Danielle, who's our exactly right executive producer.
Yes.
And
she's running this network.
She's so fucking
like
amazing, Danielle Kramer. We love her.
But like a future idea,
and I said, which
that
one of you guys are moving the clown? Like as a joke. And they were both like, we are not moving it. And I believe them. They're not lying people. And then at 5 a.m. the other day, the alarm went off here. And it's moving all the time. And then Danielle said when she listened to the video of the alarm going off, she heard like creepy voices.
No.
Okay,
yes.
that looks
I didn't know that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can't use
like,
it.
Don't tell Karen I'm going to tell her on the
there's
podcast.
Okay.
Food and stuff. It's storage. You can totally tell it's storage. It's a pantry.
Steven.
Well, so I have moved it once or twice. But
okay, the truck is
this
definitely
last
here.
time they
It's
came
just
in and there
not
was something on the floor, and I
here.
took a picture and sent it to Danielle because if anything goes wrong, I'm like, let's see, Danielle.
And it was part of the alarm system.
Yeah. And I'm like, Danielle knows what's up. She's running the place. And then she was
So
like,
it's a
oh,
happy
do you
day
mind
for
just
my
putting it
cats
back in
for
its
sure.
spot? And so I went back into the main room and put it in its spot. I noticed the clown was in the corner.
Like turned around to the
Oh,
clown.
Like, the clown was
this
in the, I did not
is
notice it
my
when I
favorite
walked in.
murder
I'm like getting chills just saying it.
podcast.
It's
This is the one that I
fucking
like originally
Can I
started
just say
listening
this
to.
then? The other night when I was leaving, I don't
And
know
it got
if
me in a
moved
bunch
the
of other
clown,
podcasts.
but I definitely turned the clown around so it wasn't
I
the
went to
crying
their live
face, it was
show,
the happy face. 'Cause I was like, we don't
once
need
in
to be
Orlando.
looking at the sad side of the clown.
Well, the only other
Which
person
was
that could have
fun.
done it, the
It's
only
just a
other
bunch of
employee and person who works for
people
exactly
screaming their heads off
media
for
is
murder
is
stories.
Jay.
Yes.
And the three of you could not be more like.
Yes,
more
I do have
fun.
low views on
That
Practically.
wouldn't fucking play pranks.
but that's okay.
So I don't. Okay, so here's my idea.
Because it's 2 days after April Fool, so it'd just be lame.
And
If that-
April Fool's is
like
lame to
Steven,
begin with.
honestly, drop the prank now. Steven, look at
Steven,
me.
God damn it, you rascal. So here was my idea in case it is haunted. And then we're like, let's get rid of it. But I
Okay.
think it's the coolest thing. And I remember the two girls who gave it to us.
I feel like the women that gave it to us, it was in.
Okay, wait.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm 100% wrong. But I remember it being these two gals in Arizona being like, we found this today at a thrift store and we thought it'd be great for you. And then we started crying and they were like so happy about our reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So Steven and Danielle had the great idea. We're going to fucking Arizona this weekend.
Yeah, I'm a shy
Give it to the
schooner.
hometown person.
It takes me, and then I have like major
have to flow with
anxiety
it,
too,
that's
so
right.
it takes me
And-
forever
and
to
you
finally
have to
press
buy
the
the sun
go
seat.
live button.
Did you know that? You have to
It's
strap
kind
it
of my
in.
fault,
You
so that's why
can't
I'm
just
really
sit in
like,
your
it's
lap
okay.
or underneath the seat in front of you.
Haunted clowns, man. Those
Now,
are expensive.
For some reason, I remembered getting that clown from those guys, those people, those women after the Circleville when we were in Ohio.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the area we were in. But now you could tell me anywhere.
You could tell me. I think you're right, but I want to.
Not
Let's
yet, not
pretend
yet.
I am and bring it with us this weekend.
Stephen, will you look up in the email, just because I feel like we had at least one conversation with the people who gave us the email that then said, we are the ones that sent you the clown.
Stephen,
Sent you
and
the clown.
either wait.
Are you sure that's not part of the Kit Kat?
It might be in your Kit Kat now.
that's probably for the best.
Well, we should find out, because if you take it to Arizona, you're just unleashing the clown.
You know what? Maybe it's for. Maybe we need it. It's for everyone.
That's right. Good. Exactly.
Am I right?
We throw it into the crowd.
It's up to you now to fucking handle this. What if we bring on the plane and it's an emotional support haunted clown? Then is it fine?
Well, it depends on how much support it brings you and if it really makes a difference. Because we could travel and take this journey with this haunted clown and find out that all along the haunted clown was inside us.
Okay. All right. And this weekend, Vince isn't going to be with us on tour because it's WrestleMania, and that's the only thing he would forsake us for nothing else.
Yeah, except for he would not have any part of that clown.
No, you're right. He wouldn't.
Or you're saying...
I'm just saying.
Oh,
it's gonna
for
be a weird
WrestleMania would be the only thing. It's definitely going to be a weird weekend.
Yes.
We're going to be off our kilters because we don't have our grounding...
emotional support, Vince.
Yes, our emotional support soil that is Vince Averill.
But we'll have a word. Okay, it'll be fine. Everything's fine.
We'll see if it's fine or not.
Well, we'll let you know. You'll know.
You'll definitely know. You'll
see
be the first to know.
Smoke in the flames, and you'll know.
Now, the last time we were in Phoenix, that was when we were in the revolving theater.
The Circle Stage
Sorry,
Revolving
let me go
Theater.
Really one of the most fun times of my life, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, did I see the new Joker trailer? I did. I don't know how I feel about it.
The entire fucking time. I will never
What did you
forget it.
think?
That was beautiful.
It was magical. We have some announcements.
Oh yeah.
Because we have this podcast network.
Yeah, this is exactly right corner. You gotta get something better than that.
Okay, now it's too low.
These are just updates. These are network updates. This is a.
How about now?
That's
There
my
it is.
news. Teletype.
Your phone is buzzing exactly when that was going on. Is it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
There wasn't that much action. It looks like maybe it was subdued.
It's from San Juan Capistrano.
They want to do,
Oh, your favorite place of vacation.
I don't know. It looks like they're trying to keep DC alive in any form possible.
And shoot swans.
With Marvel, you know, being its
It's the best vacation.
Listen, PETA,
competitor.
We love your cartoons. We love your interaction.
But they keep leaving every
so-
movie available for
Exactly right.
a
It's the
sequel.
podcast network we have started, and the Jensen and Holmes Murder Squad just premiered, and you guys came out in full
Almost
force.
like a grasp
These
at
guys are
straws.
number one on the
That's how
overall
DC makes
podcast
movies.
network charts
Since
for-
the night before it premiered and
Yeah.
is staying there.
Yeah, I don't know. My name's
I want to
Diana,
convey
so I watched
how incredible this is to us.
what is it,
how
Wonder
much
Woman?
this means to us,
That
and
and also
how
was the
important
first,
this
you know,
is. And
female.
This podcast is
So I was like,
incredible.
okay, I'll watch it.
Jensen and Holmes Murder
Um,
Squad, but it says so much. You guys
I didn't
made
like
us
it that much,
really
though.
fucking good.
Yeah, because we were like, we swear to God, if you guys help us make this thing will go.
I'm not a
big
fan of
big and
Marvel,
people
okay.
love it,
We had to
and-
sell it.
I am.
And it really
Sorry.
worked, and
I watched them
the ultimate-
as soon
I
as
was telling
the.
you and, Danielle,
We're just
too,
counting down the
the
days
ultimate
for
compliment was the day after it came out. My sister called.
Endgame.
She was not a murder, you know. And is not interested.
I want something
She's
here.
proud from a
Would it be
distance, but
weird
doesn't wanna
if I
get involved,
put-
so that's her whole stance on everything. And she doesn't like true crime. It freaks her out. She listened anyway and loved it. And she was just like, it's amazing that I love the song. I love the whole setup in the beginning. But to listen to professional people
Yeah.
discuss
Does that look
the jobs
weird? I
they've
feel like
had
it
and the work
looks
they've
weird.
done and where it is now and where they want it to go. She's like, I think it's going to change the way people interact with like their media.
I think so too.
And I just, here's the thing. You don't have to believe Laura Kilgariff, but she is the one that spotted George Clooney on the early episodes of The Facts of Life when he was just a
No.
handyman at the store and was like, who's that guy? And it was back when he had long, weird hair and was kind of beefy.
She Clooney'd.
She Clooney'd early.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
hard.
And
Oh God.
so,
Maybe
but
That's
this-
great.
What do you think?
on the network, all 6 podcasts that we have brand new episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll read them to you now. Of course, it's Jensen and the Hole's Murder Squad, which
Marvel's just like
episode 2 drops Monday, April 8th.
And so make sure you subscribe.
They know they're good, so they know that people will
go join it and subscribe and
watch whatever. Like I hate Thor movies, all of the Thor movies. And
with me and Chris Fairbanks this
what's
week,
the other
the
one?
great Martha Kelly, who plays Martha.
I'm not a fan of Chris Pratt. He annoys the fuck out of me.
Was there for the recording. We had a really good time driving around Mount Washington, very randomly. Sure, just driving around on the east side.
But besides that, the other movies are pretty good.
It's pretty great. Martha. A lot of you guys know her from Baskets, but before she was on Baskets, she was just a really well-known, respected stand-up comic. I don't think people understand how
I'm stuck here. I don't like this. This is where this is a thing where I would just get stuck at for a while.
She is. Yeah, I love her. Yeah. And then there's a new episode of the Purrcast, of course. Stephen Ray Morris.
I don't really like that either.
And so here's a crossover, you guys. So this podcast will kill you. Another podcast on our network.
I haven't seen Justice League either.
Is the guest this week, which is so cool. We met her, and she's such an angel baby.
Yep.
And then last week, I think it was Lisa Hannawalt, who created and animates Chuka and Birdie, also AKA fucking BoJack Horseman, and she's a friend of the podcast as well. And it's just a lot of fun. And you talk about cats, but it's more than that.
Would that be dangerous to have those there?
There's more. There's
Who
more to
cares?
this.
It's a sim, so set fire to
Also, there's season 4 of The Fall Line just started, so it starts today, and of course, wrapping it up with the Exactly Right Network hit podcast. This podcast will kill you. This week, hookworms.
I went hookworms when I got so.
You found more holes in your house.
Yeah, and they have a great Instagram.
Yeah, so I'll show you here. So this is a room, right?
Posters and warnings and all this shit of whatever.
If I was to,
insanity is, and it's just really entertaining.
you were moving it. So if I was to move it and put it here, see the yellow on the stairs. So the stairs would go away. But we're gonna just put it here, right?
This is
if I was to put it back here, you see the walls, they're showing, so they're yellow. Those would be deleted if I was to put that there, right? If I was to do this,
Steven?
I think it's this.
Yeah, she's in Finland.
But
It's just kind of like a manual delete. It still shows that floor there. You see, it's still a room. I don't know how it works on the PS. I really don't know how different it is, but I'm pretty sure if you just move over and click on it, you would be able to build a wall, half wall, or fence. But it still shows that it's still a room. It still counts it as a room. So if I was to move it here, you see that there's this kind of highlight on the second floor.
More than fair. That's right, but that's actually the nickname for a disease.
So, I don't know if you see that, but that's kind of what was happening there.
Super yacht.
Have you ever had super yacht?
You haven't been inoculated with the super
Yeah,
yacht?
it does get rid of
You're gonna need some Neosporin.
I don't know what it did here, so I'm just gonna go back.
Go stand in Walgreens, all uncomfortable. What else? You know what we haven't talked about, and just can we please skip
Okay, so this is gonna be my living room. This is gonna be the kitchen. I was thinking a very small office.
3-minute moment for the Madeline McCann series on Netflix.
All the series we haven't
Bathroom.
Endless series.
And then
that's the
dining
one that is,
room.
because I
And
don't,
then
I haven't
the little
been
closet.
watching it
Because of seasons, you always have to add this
so
little
there
closet
have
here.
been a couple conversations where I'm just silently smiling while everyone else does it, because I'm not going to say I want to watch it eventually, but I have to pace it out for myself. Madeline McCann, though, oh shit, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Oh, you can do this on your walls, by the way, by your
Where
stairs.
is this going? And it made me really sad.
Yeah.
This half wall,
Only bad.
it goes up to, I think, the
You don't get out of
third
that.
level.
No,
They don't.
it keeps going down and down and down, and then you're like, well, this
So
is
here's
the
a
worst that
half
could
wall.
happen to
So,
these people. But it
short
is
half
absolutely
wall,
not the
medium
worst.
short
It's
half wall,
terrible.
and a
And
medium
it's
half wall.
Yes, and it's
That's
a
the
thing you need
medium
to
half
know,
wall
and
is that
it's
size.
really well done.
Yes.
I did really enjoy watching it. I watched a lot of it, and then
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's very
The medium
compelling, but
tall
yes, after a
half wall is that
while, it
size.
like you get
But that's
worn
as big as
down
it,
by the
big as it
reality
goes.
of
If you
it.
put
I
a
mean,
tall
there's-
half wall,
at
it'll
one
do
point,
the stairs.
I'll just say this is a spoiler. Like in like year 3, they realized just no one had been looking for her at all for 3 years. There's things like that where you think you know what this case is.
Still checking
I
for me.
think I know what the case is.
I had a completely different opinion when I went in, and even not finishing the series, I'm heartbroken for her parents, and it's just, I think I got really sick of listening to that one detective
Lie, the Portuguese cop.
Yeah, I got sick of the Portuguese cop being able to say whatever the fuck he wanted on. Like, I didn't like him to a point that made it too hard. Does he die?
Yeah, thanks. I was just talking about it, how it doesn't matter. You will spend forever on these columns, but in game, that's how it will come out. They will just disappear. All that hard work for absolutely nothing.
This again is a spoiler, and I'll only say it to you, and then I don't know. We can do with it what we will.
I just wish I could see that.
Oh, did they?
It was a. Well,
I leave aside. How do you say there? Your name.
I'm like, well, you didn't watch it, did you?
Hi.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Her finger on her chin, like, well, I'll just
You're
wait for
lurking.
you to be stupid.
Lurk away. What do you think about this area here? I have a pantry. It's just decoration, so it really doesn't matter if they can open the door or not, right?
We all have that.
But it's almost like that thing where somebody is
and then
watching something like,
office
I can't
area
take it
there.
anymore,
Oh,
and you
that's
turn
kinda
it off
weird.
right before the
I'm
grade.
not gonna
and
think
you're
about it. I'm just gonna do it.
Fucking see it.
But let me just tell you, he makes a movie about his side of the story.
Oh, no.
Did you watch that part?
No, I only got to the book.
I dipped back in simply for the film that they released on Portuguese television that is the most bizarre propaganda weird thing you've ever seen.
I
I'm
don't
gonna dip
think an
my
office would be here,
bandaged
actually.
toe
Yes.
into that water.
Yeah.
Even though I was told not to put it in water. You just made
We'll
a
switch
face
them
to me
up.
again.
Oh.
There we go. This is gonna be our bathroom then. And
That's
this is
like
gonna be the
gossip.
office.
It's almost like these days it's that story. I can't believe it.
It is. I love that it's out because it definitely was like. I think when you told me have you watched it, I was like,
Okay, let's
well,
see.
the parents did it, right? And then you watch it like.
Yes,
how
thank you
could I
for being
that?
here.
And
Oh,
it's like,
ow.
this is
And
because
just hit my
It
knee.
told you.
Exactly.
The E is pronounced like S, so
evil.
Levicide? Levicide?
Yeah.
And they justify
Alright, call me
anything-
Isabel.
they'll do anything
Oh, I
with
get
toilet
it.
paper,
Levy.
including
Like, okay, I get it.
Including
I
the
like
things
it.
that they did to the McCanns. It's
Right.
just insane.
Totally. And we have to watch the Mommy Dead and Dearest fucking screenplay.
Patty Arquette. Yes, I have to see
Yeah,
that. I
I'm
haven't seen
familiar
that yet.
with
I
this.
actually was so excited and started watching it with Vince, and he was like, I can't do this. Like, watch it alone. Margarina.
Yes, probably. Munchausen's by proxy is so specifically awful.
It's just dark.
Yeah.
And
we're listening to My Favorite Murder podcast.
But it's not for people who are not.
I think they were just talking about the act. I don't know if anybody's watched it.
No.
I have not started it,
I know.
but I do know the story.
It's terrible.
So the act is a document. Well, no, it's a show or a movie. I don't know what it is. Based on the story of
This isn't a documentary about Patty Arquette's Munchausen's by proxy.
Rosie, Gypsy Rose.
And the idea that
She's a teenager. That her and her boyfriend murdered her mother. But the thing is that it's not that simple. Her mom had basically told her, like, you are sick, you have cancer. I think she went through chemo and like all this horrible crap in her body, just so that her mom can get like all of those donations and stuff from people. I don't like this trash. And so when she became like a teenager, she decided like enough was enough. I'm gonna go ahead against my mom and like date this guy. And yeah, they killed her mom. And obviously she went to jail for it, but then that was when the whole story just was, everything came out.
Brand of vintage purse.
Oh.
And I put like 6 of them in my shopping cart and had to pare them down to 3, and they're in fucking perfect condition.
Really?
Yeah, like my favorite vintage clutch, a shoulder bag. I'm not telling anyone the brand because it's mine.
But it's that's the perfect kind of vintage thrift store shopping, where it's online from the privacy of your own home.
And nothing smells like cigarettes.
What a miracle life we are all living. ThredUp is offering My Favorite Murder listeners a limited time special offer for an extra 30% off your first order.
Visit thredup.com/murder.
That's thredup.com/murder for 30% off your first order.
There's no A in there.
thredup.com/murder for an extra 30% off today.
You said that. Terms apply.
Goodbye. Support for today's show comes from HelloFresh.
HelloFresh makes conquering the kitchen a reality with delicious, simple recipes and fresh, pre-measured ingredients delivered to your door.
All meals come together in 30 minutes max, call for less than 2 pots and pans, and require minimal cleanup.
Plus, with 3 plans to choose from, including classic, veggie, and family, there's something for everyone.
So get out that recipe rut. Oh.
Get it out of your cupboard.
So get out of that recipe rut and start cooking outside your comfort zone.
That's right. Speaking of outside my comfort zone,
I'm cooking today.
Speaking of outside my comfort zone,
you know I cook,
made
Carla,
burgers. They're called
but
Milky Monterey Jack burgers.
Isabel doesn't. So yesterday I
Garlic
made
mayo and crispy
spaghetti
butter zucchini.
and we had rice and we had
That's insane.
And I'm fancy.
just some regular like roasted chicken and plantains.
That's right.
And then today I am making oxtail, just regular rice and Dominican beans.
/murder80 and enter the code
So
murder80.
excited.
That's HelloFresh.com.
I'm like getting ready to get hungry for
murder80 for $20 off your first 4 boxes.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Oh, yes, about the spaghetti. My thing for it is just a little bit of olives and a little bit of olive juice and evaporated milk. Some people put sour cream, some people put heavy cream. He made it with lemon cream sauce yesterday. My father-in-law does a lemon cream sauce. It's so good. It's so good, but I don't know how to do it. And I don't want to ask him because I'm one of those people that does not want to ask for the recipe. I want to figure it out myself.
And she snuggles up onto my shoulder, where I'm like, we're here. Like you can't get closer to me.
And she wants to be like, if you leave, I want to feel it. I want to know.
Yeah, it's very sad. Also, she's the size of a small horse.
Oh, and a banana pudding. I did a chocolate banana pudding with Oreos and the vanilla wafers.
The needy, emotionally needy horses here.
You're her emotional
I'm
support.
really looking for it. I'm still stuck here.
I wear a little blue vest
I'm
when
weird.
she's around.
Aww.
You're okay, George.
And she's like, you can touch her, it's okay. To strangers who are like,
What kind of
dog are you?
What kind of dog are you?
That's sad and sweet.
It's
We're
very sad.
Leaving this weekend.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take them to the old dog camp, so they
With
never
Oreos,
get
yeah.
water.
Chocolate. It's what is it?
Please.
I add Ghirardelli chocolate powder, 3 tablespoons to your vanilla pudding.
Karen.
Yes.
Before you dunk it in
Yeah, you
with the
should.
vanilla wafers, and then mix in Oreo crumbs in there too. So good. Anybody who doesn't like vanilla pudding would love vanilla
The
pudding.
Mysterious Death of Karen Silkwood.
Yes.
It
I haven't
is.
either of us done this.
Or thought of it
I
at
know.
all.
I
Did you
know.
watch the movie?
Yes, I will get to that.
Okay, sorry.
I've seen the movie. I've tried to watch it again. It's available nowhere.
Right.
Really surprisingly, except on YouTube, of course. And it's available on YouTube in the left-hand corner of the screen. And the rest of it is someone's like screensaver space. It's
Yes.
like literally outer space.
Well, you
coming
know,
at you.
That's how the director wanted it to be seen. That's the original intent, was that it was to be shot and presented that way.
You can't understand all the words.
No,
but
why
you
would
get the gist.
Yeah.
So I did my best and I watched a lot of it.
Great.
But I bet you anything you're fucking.
Have you ever thought about doing a cooking
If he
stream?
does,
I have not seen anything about cooking streams. What are those? Those are pretty interesting. That should be interesting.
and then
I can
Meryl
do a
Streep
cooking
at the height
stream.
of her shit.
She is so fucking good in this movie, and Cher is amazing.
Yeah.
As we all know.
Everybody's got a hairstyle in that movie that I
I'm
feel like
Spanish, so I'm like learning how to
that
cook
is the hair that would
like
make
our
me
like
sing
bigger dishes.
just generally.
This Christmas I just did. I don't know if you know, but it's called a pernil. And it's a pork shoulder. It's a roasted pork shoulder.
Face for it because she has like a long, dramatic, very
Yeah.
beautiful face.
Took me 3 days
I have
to
Campbell's
do
soup
this
kid
goddamn
face.
thing.
So
It
when I
was
have
so
dramatic
good
hair
though.
like
It
that,
was
looks
so
like I
worth
put
it.
my mom's wig on and I'm running around the living room.
Maybe you need to get a cut out of the Campbell soup can and wear it as a, like around your, like, you know, like a sandwich board. Maybe you need that.
And I could just make a little bit more money from the Campbell soup people.
Who's that? She's so beautiful.
Oh my god, she loves soup. And I mean
I'm just
beautiful like the way a
chatting.
weird baby
I
is
might.
beautiful.
That's interesting. Like right now, okay,
Beautiful.
I live in an RV. I'm decorating my RV right now, or I'm renovating it. So my kitchen, I can see it. It's like
Did you eat that
it's
bug I killed?
not that far
Okay,
from me.
Karen. Webster's dictionary.
My kitchen right now is being renovated, so we have white cabinets, but the doors are still not painted.
Wow.
So those are still that yucky 90s or 80s brown that it has. And then I'll be getting a new RV soon too, so I don't even know if it's worth it. I don't know.
I just like that you just started off your murder this week the exact way everybody started off their dramatic speech like presentations in high school, where it's like Webster's dictionary defines a friend as.
Yeah, it'd be too difficult to go ahead and kind of like it's difficult now to stream. It's really rare to have a gaming room in an RV. But yeah, that's what we have going on here.
I can't whistle, so I couldn't do that.
Woo.
Wee woo. Fuck, I missed an opportunity. Sorry. You were
Okay,
right.
I
Let's
think
edit
my
that
kitchen's
together. This is why you're the fucking scriptwriter. Yeah. Okay, so Karen Silkwood has been described as both those things by her supporters as well as a fucking crazy person by those who wanted to bring her down.
Yeah, the man.
That's right. Let's get
Thank
into it.
you.
Karen Silkwood.
Tenebris
February 19th,
Seas.
1946. She grew up in Nederland, Texas, which is about 100 miles from Houston.
Oh, it's
I
kind
forgot
of
to
cute
tell you all
when
the
you say
places
it
that I got a
fast.
lot of good information from. Cool. RomeroInstitute.org. There's this great podcast called The Knower Dispatch by Lucas Stroh, who does just Texas mysteries and murders and shit.
Ooh,
It's
nice.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And a bunch of Time Magazine articles.
How you guys like
videos,
the kitchen so
everyone knows
far?
everything about this thing already, and they're way smarter than I
Mixed
am.
wallpaper.
But here we go. I took a little from everyone.
It's a story that's been around for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Karen Silkwood, and I didn't know this about her, she was super fucking smart in high school. She got all straight A's, and she was really into chemistry, which I didn't realize. I thought she just got a job at a plant. But no, she was really smart. After graduation, she got a full scholarship to study medical technology at Lamar, which this is in the early 70s, and women didn't get this fucking opportunity as much, right?
Right. I mean, I would assume,
Sure.
yes.
I think she was the only, something like this. She was the only female in her science class, or that's not right. So she, but during her first year of school, she accidentally falls in love with a dude.
You accidentally fall in love.
That's how it feels to me.
Okay.
And drops out of school to elope.
Thank
And
you.
have 3 children.
Sure.
Here, let me zoom out for a bit.
Sure.
Somebody did a is it Charleston symbol? Charleston symbol? I forgot what it's called. Style home. And this was like another take that I did on it. I did a gothic version of it with a mansard roof. But this is another version that I did.
But they're really young kids at that point. Which sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.
It's like you want to think of her
But
as this,
that style home, what it consists of is really just like it's a narrow house. It's just this narrow box, and then you have a yard right outside. You have like this entrance to the yard in order for you to get into the house first.
One of the big wigs. And a big wig in Oklahoma is
I might be changing it as I get like from floor to floor, but this was kind of
I didn't know that.
this was the original version that I did last year.
Maybe.
I just never really touched it after.
I'm gonna stop asking questions. I don't know why I keep doing
I
that.
think that whole area in that part of Texas,
I'm
as
doing
far
it now,
as
and it's
the
looking
Dispatch tells me,
badass.
is that is a big fucking industry for oil and for power and energy. Like,
Yes.
There's probably a lot of rich people there.
100. I bet that's very true.
Yeah, a lot of people working for them.
Yeah, and all like it's the energy, it's oil industry, but then like that money begets alternative energies, and
Totally.
From growing up, all anyone was ever trying to figure out is how to basically harness nuclear fission. Why am I trying to talk about this?
I mean, I want to hear your opinion about this.
There we go. It's here. I'll be right back, guys.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I still want your opinion on this. Yeah. You remember this shit.
It just feels like it was really the direction where people are like, better living through chemistry, but it's an area where it can't really be controlled the way people say.
And it became scary at some point. Like in the 50s, you see all the nuclear technology and people were really gung-ho on it, but this is the time when it started to kind of not be so popular.
Right.
Okay. So she gets a job, and she's stoked to get back into her passion of science after having stayed home to raise kids and shit. And she gets a job as a metallography technician at the plutonium plant. And she essentially helps make plutonium fuel rods for nuclear reactors.
Wow.
Just makes me think of the opening credits of The Simpsons.
Yes.
That's all I know about
when the fuel rod just bounces away.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like The Simpsons probably stole some of this off of,
I think The Simpsons is entirely based on Silkwood, and they just they won't acknowledge it.
Marge is Karen Silkwood.
They won't acknowledge it.
Oh my God. Okay, so her duties there include polishing fuel rods packed with radioactive plutonium pellets. Fun.
Yeah.
Of course, we know plutonium is one of the world's most deadly poisons. I'm sure the girls at this podcast will kill you, could tell you all about it.
Yes.
It's highly radioactive, and Keira McGee had gone out of its way to downplay the dangers of it, of course, in their employee handbooks and shit. Its health manual saying in capital letters, you ready for our new shirt?
Yeah.
Radiation is safe.
No.
That's our new shirt.
Oh, that's good.
Radiation is safe.
Yeah.
But all caps.
Yeah.
Screaming it.
Diagonal, and then with some kind of lightning bolt things coming from the side, and it's coming out like a shooting star.
And underneath it says, "Don't worry about it," real small.
Yeah. We got you.
Yeah.
We got you. Radiation is safe.
Okay. So, and this is true if the metal only comes in contact outside the body, so it's kind of true. They were kind of lying. But once it enters the body through the nose or mouth, there's this barrage of these subatomic bullets into soft tissue that wreaks havoc on your body. And a dust-sized speck of plutonium is widely thought to be able to cause cancer if caught in the lung. That's all it takes.
Dust size.
Yeah.
Shit.
Right. Not good. So while at the plant, Karen Silkwood joins the Oil, Chemical, and Atomic Workers Union, which in the 70s, the unions were fucking hip as shit, right?
Well, they were very necessary.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There was a lot of workers. Because also when you first started talking about this, I was like, wait, this is not normal.